So, you want to get a band 9 in IELTS listening. Let me guess what your journey has been like so far. You wake up, maybe with a bit of anxiety, and jump straight into your IELTS prep. You've downloaded a million hacks, watched every YouTube video, and tried countless routines, thinking this one will be the game changer. You even tried the so called magic tricks that promise a perfect score, but nothing seems to work. Listen more to podcast practice with a timer, use this specific strategy, but deep down, you know that something is missing and you're stuck. I get it. At 16, I went from knowing absolutely nothing in English to scoring a band 9 in IELTS listening and an overall 8. And I've been through it, the routines, the hacks, the secret strategies. And let me tell you, most of them are pure nonsense. But today I'm gonna reveal the 7 powerful tips that are not just fluff. Let's get into it. Alright, here's something that almost nobody understands about IELTS listening. Most students, they just sit there waiting to hear an answer word for word. But let me tell you something, IELTS is not your friend. It's literally designed to confuse you. And the way they do it, subtle traps hidden in the audio. Now let's take question number 16. Who will hand out the conference materials? It sounds simple, right? Nope, because IELTS never gives you that answer easily. See, when you hear this part of the recording, your brain is expecting a direct statement. Something like, Emily will be responsible for handing out materials. But that's not what happens. Instead, they lead you down a different path first. At first, the speaker talks about past problems with missing handouts. Now, stop right here. Why would they mention past issues? And think about it. If IELTS mentions a past problem, they're trying to set up a solution. So that means the person they choose has to be someone reliable. So if you were listening casually, you might think, oh, they're just discussing previous problems. No, this is a setup. And then here comes the real trap. I know Tom offered, but here we have a contrast marker. You see that? This is where most students get tricked. The second they hear Tom's name, they think, oh, it's Tom. But IELTS knows you will do that. That's why they immediately switch it up. The moments that you hear a contrast, a but, a hesitation, or a correction, that's when your brain should be on high alert. And here's the confirmation. Emily, you handled this well before, so can you do it again? Notice how they don't say Emily is responsible. They just imply it, and this is an indirect confirmation. And most students miss this, but you won't. So here's what you need to do in your exam. Listen, contrast markers. Whenever you hear words like but, actually, rather, or instead, your answer is probably about to change. Number 2, catch indirect confirmation. They won't always say this person will do it. Instead, they will phrase it as Emily, you handled this well before, so I'd like you to do it again. Number 3 is paying attention to hesitations and corrections. If a speaker hesitates, like, I think it was Tom actually, the real answer comes after that moment. This is how IELTS tricks you, and this is how you beat them at their own game. Now, let's talk about the next strategy, because if you think this was sneaky, wait until you see what IELTS does in the next question. Most students think IELTS listening is all about catching keywords. But here's what actually happens. They make you think one answer is correct, and then they take it away. Let me show you exactly how they do this. Take this question, for example. Who will guide attendees to their seats? If you're just waiting for a name, you will literally fall for the trap because IELTS doesn't give you the real answer right away. First, they start with uncertainty. Tom and Jason, you both went over the seating plan with Rachel. Now, stop right there. This is a setup. Your brain hears Tom and Jason, and your brain thinks, oh, one of them must be responsible. That's exactly what IELTS wants you to think. But then pattern interrupts, and you all agreed that she would be the best person. Wait, what? Who is she? Boom, the real answer was Rachel all along. So what did they do? They threw in multiple names to confuse you before sliding in the correct answer at the end. Now here, let's talk about how you can recognize the traps. So firstly, recognize when multiple names are mentioned. The real answer usually comes after the discussion, not at the start. Then look for words like agreed, decided, or chosen. These signal the final decision. Next up, ignore misleading names. Tom and Jason were involved, but Rachel got the responsibility. And once you master this, IELTS won't be able to trick you again. Just wait until you see how IELTS uses hesitation to confuse you in the next question. Here's something IELTS doesn't want you to realize. When people hesitate, they're about to correct themselves. And guess what? That correction is usually where the real answer is hidden. So now let's look at question number 15. Who will handle registration? At first, the speaker sounds confident. If I recall, it was Jason who managed registration before. Now, I want you to stop. This sounds like the answer, right? But that's actually wrong because the very next sentence destroys that certainty. Or was it Tom? And this is what is called pattern interrupt. IELTS just flipped the script. They made you doubt about your answer. And then here comes the real trick here. Not entirely sure, but Mark actually volunteered this time, so he will be handling that. So boom, Mark is the real answer right now. See how it did that? They threw in Jason, then they made you doubt with Tom, and finally, they revealed Mark. And now let's talk about how to beat this trap in the exam. Firstly, listen for hesitation words. Those include I think, if I can recall, maybe. These signals mean a change is coming. Ignore the first names you hear if the speaker is really unsure. The real answer usually comes after hesitation. Next up, watch for strong confirmation. Words like actually, so, or in the end mean the real decision is being made. Most IELTS candidates make the same mistakes in listening without even realizing it. You think you're following the conversation and then boom, you get tricked. And that's why in this video I revealed 5 of the biggest IELTS listening traps and how to beat them. But here's the thing. There are 2 other strategies that can single-handedly boost your score. And if you don't know them, you're still leaving points on the table. So I've put together a free worksheet where I break down those last 2 tips in detail with real IELTS examples. You can get it right now through the link in the description completely for free. Don't let IELTS fool you again. Grab that free worksheet, take your listening skills to the next level.